Hey, it's Larson here. Welcome to the newest EDM Production tutorial, and today I want to talk about parallel compression. But before we jump into it, let me encourage you to subscribe and hit the little bell icon to receive notifications whenever I upload new videos. I upload Synthesize Sunday tutorials on every Sunday, EDM Production tutorials on every Wednesday, and song feedback sessions on every Friday. So if you don't want to miss any of these, smash those buttons for good. For an easier demonstration, I want to use two drum loops. I want to keep the first one dry, and on the second one I want to apply a very heavy compression. So let's take the glue compressor. I want to pull back the release a little and maybe add a little more attack time, crank up the ratio and crank back the threshold. Also, we need to make some makeup and some soft clipping to avoid digital clipping. So anyway, this is a very hard compression on the sound. It's crazy heavy. So let me add a little more makeup. So this way we can chop off those very peaks. So the general idea behind parallel compression is you have the dry signal and you can add a touch or basically any other value, any other rate of the heavily compressed sound to your original sound. So I'm going to use my main slider on this channel to add back the very heavily compressed sound to the original sound. Now this is a very nice way to, just add a slight, very fine touch to your sound. But what I also want to do here, and also like to do when I use parallel compression, is I use an EQ to chop off the very lows, like, the bass, like a bass drum, kick drum, but not the snare, or just a pinch of it. So let me pull it back and let's see what we get now. Let me solo that one track. Okay, this is cool, and this is very nice because this way we won't conflict on the low end. So because we made some tweaks here, I want to add another saturator, to avoid digital clipping. And now if I mix them together, I won't be able to mess up with the low end. Because when you mix, you don't want to over compress your bass sound, especially your drums, your kick drums, because you want them to be punchy and powerful, not very sloppy and over compressed or even distorted low end, especially on the very punchy kick drums. So you want to keep them untouched or very slightly compressed, but the middle band and the high band is ready to compress it really hard. And this is the general idea behind it. Now there is another way, which is a lot simpler by the way. If you use a glue compressor on a loop, you can see the dry wet knob here, which does basically the same what we did here with the second fader. So with this fader we can decide how much we want to add back the compressed signal to the original one. So right now you can see that I use only 45%, which means that only 45% of the compressed signal is added back to the dry signal. Although you cannot use an EQ here, what I did in this track, as you can see in the EQ8. But if you don't want to use an EQ, the glue compressor may be your choice, and it is a very nice compressor. I really love its sound, and I think it's great. So I recommend you to use that. But if you want to step forward with your parallel compression stuff, I recommend you to set up two chains or two tracks and set up these devices, and of course group them. And what I like to do is add even a saturator or a limiter or I like to use them this order, a saturator without soft clipping and a limiter at the end. So this way you will get very smooth output on the compressed, parallel compressed sound. Also, one more thing, if you want to keep the original tone of your loop or of your sound, what I like to do is, pull back everything above like 200 Hertz or maybe 300, depends on the tone of your snare. So this way we add back very hard compression, but we will keep the original tone of your sound. So you won't overload the mid and the high frequencies. So this is a very nice way. I hope you enjoyed this and I hope you learned something today. I was Dan Larson and see you next time, guys. Bye bye.